When you look at the world map, it's easy to think countries are separated by borders, flags, and languages. But one of the deepest differences we rarely talk about is something far more invisible: how people in different regions handle financial risk. Today we're diving into a fascinating comparison: Asia versus Europe. Two massive, influential regions with completely different histories, economies, and cultural mindsets, and each with its own unique approach to the idea of uncertainty. How they prepare for emergencies, protect their families, save for retirement, and use tools like insurance, investments, or government safety nets. And what we discover here reveals not just financial habits, but the psychology, identity, and worldview of entire civilizations. To understand Asia's approach to financial risk, we have to begin with something older than any government or economic system: family. In most Asian cultures, China, India, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Indonesia, and beyond, the family is the primary safety net. Parents rely on children, children rely on parents. Everyone relies on each other. This creates a mindset where financial risk is handled collectively. Your savings aren't just for you, they're for the family unit, the generations. So when Asian families buy insurance or invest, they don't ask what's good for me. They ask, what protects my family? Because of this, Asia tends to embrace insurance not as a luxury, but as a responsibility. Europe, on the other hand, grew up with the idea that the state, the government, is the main safety net. After the devastating world wars and economic collapses, European countries built strong welfare systems: public health care, public pensions, unemployment benefits, disability protections, and even state-funded retirement solutions. In Europe, people don't ask, will my family take care of me when I'm old? They ask, what will the government provide? This creates a completely different mindset about risk. Europeans trust institutions, Asians trust family. And that difference explains nearly everything we're about to explore. Let's look at how these mindsets impact life insurance. In Asia, life insurance is booming. Countries like China, India, Japan, and South Korea buy insurance for generational stability. Parents want to guarantee that their children never suffer financially if something happens to them. Many Asian buyers treat insurance like long-term savings or investment. In places like China and India, cash value life insurance is seen almost like a disciplined saving plan, a way to protect future generations while building wealth. It's emotional, it's cultural, it's deeply tied to honor, responsibility, and legacy. In Europe, the situation is almost the opposite. Life insurance is often seen as optional, not unimportant, but not essential. Because Europeans assume they won't face extreme medical bills, catastrophic education costs, or sudden financial ruin. Their systems are designed to minimize the need for private insurance products, so life insurance becomes more of a financial tool than a cultural necessity. Europeans may buy it strategically, mostly for mortgages or tax benefits, but not for emotional comfort. And that lack of emotional dependency means Europe's life insurance market grows slower than Asia's. Now let's explore retirement planning. Asian countries have rapidly aging populations. Japan, South Korea, and China, especially, and they are realizing that traditional family support isn't enough anymore. This is creating a massive shift. Young Asians are relying more on insurance, investments, and private retirement products than ever before. In contrast, Europe already has established pension systems, but they're straining under demographic pressure. Many European countries face the challenge of too many retirees and too few workers. Yet despite this pressure, Europeans still trust government pensions more than private alternatives. They see private pension plans as supplementary, not essential. Meanwhile, in Asia, private retirement products are becoming urgent essentials. Let's talk about risk-taking. Asians generally approach financial risk cautiously. Saving rates in Asian countries are among the highest in the world. The logic is simple. If your safety net is your family, you save more because you don't want to be a burden. That leads to conservative decisions, buying insurance, avoiding big debts, and prioritizing stability. Europeans, on the other hand, are willing to take more financial risks, not because they're reckless, but because they know that even if they fall, the government will catch them. So Europeans often invest more in markets, take on more personal freedom, enjoy more social protection, and take more financial liberties compared to Asian households. Now let's look at healthcare. In Europe, healthcare is mostly free or heavily subsidized, so insurance is not tied to survival. People go to hospitals without fear of bankrupting themselves. In Asia, healthcare systems vary widely. Japan and Korea have strong public systems, but places like China, India, and Southeast Asia often require private coverage to avoid catastrophic costs. That's why health insurance in Asia is exploding. People buy it because medical emergencies can financially destroy entire families. That level of vulnerability fundamentally changes the way people perceive risk. Let's also talk about trust. Europeans generally trust their institutions. They trust their governments. They trust regulations. That makes them more relaxed about relying on state systems. In contrast, many Asian countries are still developing trust in government systems or lack comprehensive safety nets. So people take responsibility into their own hands, building savings, buying insurance, and relying on family. That lack of institutional trust creates stronger personal responsibility for financial security. And then there's economic history. European countries were wealthy and industrialized earlier, so their systems matured over a long time. Asian countries went from poverty to global powerhouses in 1 or 2 generations. When a society experiences rapid economic change, people become more sensitive to financial uncertainty. They want safety. They want protection. They want control. Europe experienced gradual stability. Asia experienced rapid change. And that creates 2 different cultures of risk. Let's compare financial products. Europeans prefer structured, low-fee, regulated products, government bonds, pension schemes, and traditional investments. They value stability over aggressive growth. Asians prefer products that offer guarantees, discipline, and long-term benefits. Insurance-based savings plans, endowment plans, and cash value products are extremely popular. Europeans might see these as inefficient. Asians see them as safe. And it's not about math, it's about psychology. So who handles financial risk better? The truth is, both regions handle it well but for completely different reasons. Europe outsources risk to the government. Asia internalizes risk within families and private financial tools. Europe's model creates predictable stability, but depends heavily on taxes and demographic balance. Asia's model creates resilience and independence, but requires stronger personal discipline and financial awareness. Neither system is perfect, and both are evolving. But here's the real insight. The future may force both regions to change. Europe's aging crisis may push people toward more private insurance and investments. Asia's rising middle class may start demanding stronger public safety nets. In the end, both regions may slowly move toward a hybrid model, part government stability, part personal responsibility. So when we ask who handles financial risk better, the answer is not Europe or Asia. The real answer is cultural context. It's not about which continent is smarter. It's about what people believe, trust, and value. Some trust institutions. Some trust family. Some want independence. Some want support. And financial behavior always follows cultural identity. That's what makes this comparison so fascinating and why it's one of the most important conversations in global finance today. If you enjoyed exploring this massive social and economic difference between Asia and Europe, stay tuned for more deep dives into how cultures shape money, life insurance, retirement, and global wealth trends. The world of finance is changing, and understanding these mindsets is the key to understanding the future.